What do you do if you have a job and you want to earn more money?
It's a really interesting question and something that people share with me on a regular basis. Rowie, I have a job, I need to earn more money. What do I need to do to become more valuable to my organisation so I get paid more? And I'll rephrase that. I wish that was the statement that people made. But it's pretty much, or it seems to go like this: I want more money. Perhaps the pre-frame to that should be, what do I need to do to become more valuable to the organisation so I can earn more money? And I wish that's something that people would share more often. And the reverse of that, I work with business owners every single day who have a whinge, moan and complain to me about why they don't want to pay people more money. It's not that they can't, and it's often that, yes, we're doing well or we're profiting, or I wish I could pay my employees more money, but they don't deserve it. And this is a very personal thing, probably something you won't hear from your boss. It's just a private whinge, moan and complain that business owners have to me. And perhaps they've asked me to share with people in general why you don't earn more money, why you won't get paid more, and how you could if you wanted to. So here's an interesting question. How much value do you add to the business that you're in? And it's a response that I give to business owners when they complain to me that people don't do their job properly. It's pretty understandable that if you are working for somebody else, it's not your business. So people tend to treat that business like it's somebody else's, and it's just a job they're getting paid to do. And most people do either just enough to get by so they don't get fired. There seems to be very little extra mile effort that goes in when you work for somebody else, and maybe that's something to consider. Something that I don't understand, because I've never opened a business from scratch. I'm not an entrepreneur, I'm an intrapreneur. So every business I've ever worked in, been involved with, hasn't been mine. I've just gone into the business and treated it like it was my own. And as I often share, never worked for wages, never worked for a salary. I've always worked for the belief in myself that I can add value to this business, help the business grow, the business will make more money, and then consequently I'm worth more money. And maybe that's something to consider, because business owners share with me that, oh, Rowie, I wish there was more people in the world like you who wanted to add value to our business. And as I share with them, it's very unlikely, because most people just have a job to pay their bills so that they can live. And often that job isn't because it's something they love or because they're passionate about it or because they want to add value to the business. It's just a job. And that's an interesting headspace perhaps to ask yourself, what kind of person am I that would do just enough to get by? What kind of person am I that, and here's some of the things that, again, very personal, that business owners will probably not share with you, but they certainly share with me. The world seems to have become very unreliable, so people have a lot of sick days. They have, I'm very anxious day, I'm depressed day, I've had a bad day, I'm just not coming in today. People have become very unreliable. And I'm not sure if you understand this, and obviously you don't if you've never run a business, but that becomes a very major challenge, a big hassle for a business owner. So if you're somebody who can be relied on, even if it's just, these are your work hours, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, if you always arrive on time or a little bit earlier, and you always stay till the day's over, and you don't have unnecessary days off, then maybe there's a value added there. And a lot of business owners are sharing that with me now, that just that alone, I saw a sign just recently, it said, we are now employing people who show up. Because there's so many people in the world now who have become so incredibly lazy that they just don't show up. And then there's this thing about showing up but late. And so many people, business owners have shared with me that so many people just think it's normal to arrive late. Oh, I got caught in the traffic. Interesting thing about the traffic though, if all the other people are there and you're the one that's late, what did they do? They didn't arrive by helicopter. They had to come in the traffic too. So they had to work out a way to arrive on time even though there was cars on the road. There's always a way to arrive on time if you plan carefully, of course. But if you get a reputation of somebody who has lots of sick days, lots of days off, you arrive late, and again, something a boss will probably never share with you because there's some employment laws involved here. But people that, it's time for me to have a break. It's time for me to go to lunch. It's time for me to go to afternoon tea. It's time for me to finish. It seems a headspace now where people are very it's very unlikely that people would go the extra mile, put in an extra effort. Now, a lot of employees share with me they don't do that because the boss doesn't notice or the boss doesn't care. But the question that I always ask is, should it matter? If you don't like your boss, why are you working there? Go and work somewhere else. If you don't love your job, why would you stay? I can't understand that headspace. There are always other jobs. If you're just doing this because it's a lousy, stinking, rotten job, then go and get a different lousy, stinking, rotten job with a different boss, because this situation isn't working out well. But if you are sick, if you arrive late, and when I say sick, I'm talking about the sick day. Obviously, you can't go to work if you're sick. But it seems that, and again, bosses share this with me, that there's any excuse, and people call in, I feel sick, and you can hear in their voice they're faking it. It's so embarrassing for everybody. Maybe it's just better to say, I don't like this job, I'm leaving, rather than I've got to have a sick day and pretend to be sick. Because I don't know which angle you look at it, but to me that's just plain lying. It's being dishonest. So if you don't like your job, go and get another one. If you do have a job, at least do what's required. Arrive on time, stay till the end. And if you want to get paid more, here's what needs to happen. And this is what, again, business owners share with me. You will only get paid what the job requires you to do. So if you were employed, you interviewed, you got the job, this was the amount that you're going to get paid. They're not going to pay you any more than that. They're only going to pay you more if you do more, if you add more value to the business. And that's one of the things that I've lived my life like this. Why would somebody pay me more unless I can prove that I've brought more money into the business? And I think that's a really important thing to consider. If this is your job and this is your wage and this is what you're getting paid, then do your job, do the right thing, and then go home. If you want to have a reputation of being a extra mile person, of being an extra effort person, of the person that's deserving of more money, then obviously you have to do more than what is expected of you. And if you're doing less than is expected of you, would it be fair enough to consider that you're probably going to lose your job? And I'll share this with you again, that a lot of business owners share with me. Most of the people that we employ are only here because we can't find anybody else. We'd love to sack them, but we can't get rid of them. It's too hard to sack people because we live in a country where the employment laws are too hard, or we can't find anybody better, so we're stuck with this bad bunch of people. And I feel really sad when I hear that. I feel sad, obviously, for the employer, but I feel really sad for the people that they're talking about, because I wouldn't like to have that reputation. I would like the people that I'm involved with to say, she's the best person we've ever employed. She always arrives early. She stays late. She puts in an extra mile effort. She always does more than we expect. She's a great person. And if you leave an organisation, wouldn't it be nice to have that reputation? We're really sad that she's going. We're really glad, bloody happy she's going, because we couldn't wait to get rid of her, and we couldn't get rid of her because of the employment laws. I think that would be really sad. So some serious questions to ask. Are you reliable? If you say you're going to do something, do you do it? Are you honest? Are you loyal? Do you ever say, if this was my business, I'd do it differently? Well, then go and run your own business. Rather than whinge, moan and complain about the business that you're in, go and run your own business and enjoy the experience of being in full control of whatever it is that you do. But if you're whining about your job, if you're complaining about your job, if you're causing hassle in the environment, because somebody that's not happy, this is a really interesting thing to consider. Productivity, we talk about it all the time in the workplace. How do we get people to be more productive? If you don't like your job and you're whinging about the business and you don't like the people that you work with, very unlikely that you are productive, which means somebody's wanting to get rid of you if they haven't worked out a way already. So why would you stay there? If somebody wants to get rid of you, why not just leave and go and do something that you are really passionate about? And that's what Romax is all about. Have a career or business that you love, rather than a lousy, stinking, rotten job that just pays the lousy, stinking, rotten bills. And if you have an attitude like that, I just go to my job to pay my lousy, stinking, rotten bills and I do just enough to get by, is it possible that you can't expect to get paid more, of course, but you should probably expect that the boss is trying to get rid of you? And if you work in an organisation where that's the general consensus, that everybody does just enough to get by, another great thing to consider that the experts share with us is that you become the person that you invest, waste or spend the most time with. So if you're surrounded by negative people talking negatively about the job, negatively about the business, negatively about the weather, negatively and gossip and criticising each other, then it's very likely it won't be long before you become that person. So if you're in that environment, probably a really good idea to get out. So the reason for this chat, the reason I'm here today is probably to share from a business owner's point of view that there's a lot of business owners that are very disillusioned and very angry with their staff. And I don't like the word staff, I like to call people team players. But if you're on a team and you're not putting in 100% effort, then why the hell are you there, and why the hell would anybody else want you to be there? Why don't you go somewhere else? Make it easier for your boss so they don't have to go through the process of trying to get rid of you. Why not just quit and go somewhere else? Getting fired is a horrible thing. And even there's this, in Western countries now, there's this thing where if the boss does something wrong, you can take them to unfair dismissal court and you can get thousands of dollars. But let's just say you got thousands of dollars from your boss because they fired you, or you think that they fired you in the wrong way, or something went wrong. What kind of reputation is that? Or that's the person that didn't like the job, so they whinge, moaned and complained about it. Versus that's the person that always puts in 100% effort. They're an extra mile person. They were a delight to have in our organisation, and we're really sad that they've left. And that isn't about the job, that isn't about your boss, that isn't about the product or service or the people that you work with. Isn't that all about you? So be the person that somebody wants to employ, they would like to keep employing, they would like to pay you more money. And if you're a business owner, if you're an employer, then best we not whinge, moan and complain about keeping those people in the organisation. And this is a very controversial thing I'm about to share, but it's certainly advice that I give to business owners on a regular basis. I call it the go away fund. Get out of our business fund. If you've got somebody in your business who's causing people to be unproductive, to be unhappy, to be angry, to not do their job properly, then you've got to get those people out of there. And sometimes that's going to cost money. Now, the person that puts you in that situation, that's a horrible person. You just have to let them go. But you don't want to keep them there because you can't afford to get rid of them. So really good idea to have a fund, put money away to make sure that if you have to get rid of somebody, you can get rid of them quickly and pay them out quickly, so you don't have to have them infecting your business with their negativity and their disgustingness. I can't put it any other way. And if you are an employee, wouldn't it be awful to have that kind of reputation, that person was somebody that we had to get rid of because they were horrible? Things to consider about life, and here's what I'm always here for. People ask me, Rowie, what is it that you do? And my answer is always the same. My goal is to help people have a career or business that they love and never a job that they don't. I'd love everybody to be healthy, fit and strong so they can go to their whatever it is that they do and have a stack of energy to do it. I'd love people to be financially free. And of course, you can't be financially free if you don't add value to the world. I'd love you to have great people in your life. And if you're working in a job that you don't like, or if you're employing somebody that you don't like, that's having yuck people in your life. And why would you do that? You can't live your life to the max unless you're healthy, fit and strong, you have a career or business that you love, you are financially free, and you love the people who are in your inner circle. So live your life to the max. So you can sing like I do every day. I feel good, na 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 na. I knew that I would now, na 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 na. So good, yeah, yeah, woohoo!